Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations with people in the education space. Like I've mentioned before, I meet so many interesting and inspiring people every day. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you can also hear their stories and about the amazing work that they do. Today, I'm here with a good friend, an old friend, Anita Eipe, who is the managing trustee at Samatha Learning Center and director and co-founder of SplEd Buddy. We can hear more about it later in our conversation. But today, Anita, I just wanted to talk to you about, what there's so much of talk about the connection that is required between a school and a parent and the student, being at the center of this relationship. So what are your views on this?
Yeah. Hi, Anupa. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and with you. And yes, we have education in common. So I'm glad we are doing this because I know you work in the mainstream area, and I, from the mainstream, have moved to special education. And what we always need to remember, whether we are parents or tutors, is that a child is a child, and every child has a right to education. And education is, and that is, I guess, where the whole debate comes up as to who has the right to what education. And I think I've been in this field long enough to be able to hold my ground when I say education is only meaningful when it is something that a child can use, right? Whether you are typical, whether you have a diagnosed a disorder, or whether you are just struggling in life with emotional issues. Education, at the end of the day, is meaningful when a child can use that education, right? And especially today, when we are faced with so much uncertainty as to what tomorrow holds, when we are with so much of uncertainty as to whether schools will open, how it will open, what has happened to children over these 2 years, what has happened to teachers over these 2 years, what should change, and what should change at what cost, right? And I think that is a lot of the reason why there's panic. Panic in parents' eyes because they want to always make up for lost time, or they have this worry that they are not doing enough in this so-called fast-paced world, and whether their child would get left behind when others move up ahead. So that is what a parent is always worrying about. A school is worrying about whether they can cater to the parents' needs and prove that they are the best. But in all this, what we have to actually think about is the student. Because the education is for the student, the future is for the student, and the student is who needs to benefit from whatever change that we choose to make. And I think here also what we have to realize is that students are now very aware of this entire parent school situation, very aware of it, right? And if we give our students credit for intelligence, trust me, they are going to use that intelligence to make the best of the situation, which may not be the best for them because they still are too young to have that foresight. But that is where, as adults in the whole picture, the teachers, the schools, the parents, we need to get smart and understand what's happening and what we need to do differently ahead of the child who would otherwise do it for us.
Yeah,
And
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say that this whole past COVID time, parents have been super involved, right? I mean, like I was listening in on some online classes in the school that I work with, and when the teacher asked the student a child, I could hear the father, answering. You can't see him on the screen, but you can. So parents are like really, really super involved right now, and it's been a good thing, and a bad thing.
yeah, the good thing is that yes, there's a reality check that the child's education is also the parents' responsibility, not just that of the school. But it's also, like you said, the bad thing is that um, it's a scary responsibility, right? And we feel that if we don't do things right, we are ruining our child's life, which is not the truth, right? At the end of the day, if you look at your own life as an adult, you realize that your success, every bit of your success in whatever you do, comes from that belief that you can do it. Comes from that small component called self-esteem, self-confidence, knowing I can do it. And that does not come from education. It does not come from getting marks. It does not come from a parent doing a child's project. It does not come from memorizing all the answers and writing them in an exam and getting all the marks. Confidence comes from doing and realizing, oh, okay, I did it. Or, oops, okay, this doesn't really work as I thought it would, right? That is where your self-image comes from. And it's your self-image that defines your success in life, not your marks. And if we are really truthful, as parents, we would stand back and think the day we passed out of college, or the day we passed out of engineering or medicine or degree, arts degree or commerce, anything, your marks is not what gave you the confidence to do your job.
So true. So that's so true what you're saying. Yeah.
And there are some toppers, there are some those who got 10% through their school who suddenly go to a job and don't know what it's all about. And they are the first ones to say that, what I learned is what I learned on the job.
You're right. But I mean, in today's world, I know it's all about the child and everything, but this, don't you think that the school and the parents have to work together? And do you think that this is happening?
For sure.
But do
For
you think
sure.
that this is happening?
It's not happening at all. When
So
you
how
look at
how can we make it happen?
That is when we both, whether we are a parent or the student or the school, we stand up for the student. When I see these arguments on these Facebook groups of whether parents should pay fees for the months there were no school, or whether the school says you have to pay the fees because there are so many people we have to pay, my question is, aren't we all on the same side? Isn't what we are saying, isn't it all have to do with the, doesn't it all have to do with the fact that the school is for the child? And why are we fighting with each other? We should be together demanding it of whatever the government or whatever, whoever has to support education, because tomorrow the schools are meant to build the country, build the community, right? So, yeah, very important that parents and schools have to be on the same side.
Correct. So do you think as schools do, I mean, obviously we do. So how do you think we can support our parents better, to be able to work along with us, and not be at the opposite end, like finding fault with the school, but
So first thing to identify is what is the reason behind this anxiety. What is the common reason?
I don't know. They just don't seem to trust the school, I guess, or they don't.
What is their? It actually doesn't have anything to do with the school per se. It is their fear that they are not doing the best for their child.
Okay.
Right? And I think that is the fear that needs to be addressed. What is the best school? Someone who gives you 100% marks? We just 2 minutes ago very clearly clarified that marks does not define the person. Marks today even doesn't get your foot into the job, into the door of the job, because a lot of companies have recognized that it takes more than just ability to learn to make an effective employee or an effective team player. Right? So a lot of companies, when they do the hiring, they do these, group sessions and psychometric tests, and to figure out how well do you think outside the box, how well do you collaborate with others.
Yes. Thank you, Anita, for your views. My aim is to keep these conversations short because everyone's attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter. So you have shared some wonderful insights. Thank you so much. And it really emphasizes on the fact that all of us involved with schools should focus on our parents as well, so that parents and schools can work in partnership.
Collaboration, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yes, and it's all for the well-being of the children, of the students.
Yeah, and if you're not smart enough to collaborate with your school, your child is going to use that intelligently, which may not be the best for him or her.
Yeah.
If you and the school are on the same side, the child benefits.
Yes. So all parents and educators listening in, please, let's all work in collaboration with one another. And remember, it's not for anybody's gain, but it's only for that child that we're doing this. So thank you, Anita. And maybe on another time, we can talk about the work that you do. That I'm sure everyone would love to hear about that.
Surely, anytime.
Thank you so much for being here, and see you. Bye-bye.